So, first of all, I'd like to say that whatever you are going to listen, you have not read it anywhere else, and you will not hear anything that is written in the scriptures or any other person must have told you. So listen to me with an open mind, and just let things seep in, just allow things to slowly get inside your mind, right? And I'll give you a complete explanation, because this is an important question, and we are trying to now make some short videos and audios in which some very important topics are taken and I explain, because they are like definitions, or they are like important topics which we all must know. And this will also help the blog readers. This will also help the people who are reading the books, and this will also help you all to understand that what is the process that is going on inside. So all these things are interconnected, and with the excuse of what is moksha or mukti and what is the difference and so on, I get an opportunity to speak about it in great detail. And I am speaking from my own experiences, what the rishis have told me, and what is written in the blog, and what I'll write more in the books that are yet to come, right? So we have all read in our Hindu scriptures that the ultimate aim of a human being is moksha, nirvana, or mukti. So the question is, what is mukti? So mukti means freeing yourself from something, and mukti from what? So this itself is a complete explanation that what is mukti, right? So mukti from the continuous cycle of life and death. And why did the concept arise? The rishis have told me such a beautiful thing, that India is a spiritual country, and the idea of moksha came in the minds of the rishis over many lakhs of years. The concept of mukti, because Bharat is the only country which speaks about mukti. No other religion or any other country speaks about it. So the rishis told me that over the years, the rishis who were jnanis, who were dhyanis, they were scholars, they were wise men, they had wisdom. Over the long period of time, they started understanding by their own observation that what kind of habits men have, what do they do, and what is the quality of life. So they realized over the yugas, over many yugas, that a human being has a tendency of running after things. इच्छाओं के पीछे भागता है वो. So to complete that desire, he automatically takes a new form, because that is unfulfilled. And when he gets a new form, what he does or what she does is that either that has not given the fulfillment as was conceived in the mind. So again that attempt is made, not realizing that we are running after shadows. That's why उसको मृग तृष्णा बोलते हैं, कि कभी भी इंसान को कोई भी भौतिक सुख के पीछे भागने के बाद पूर्ण शांति नहीं मिलेगी. Nobody has been able to completely satisfy or feel fully satisfied after enjoying the sensory world. So what happens is that since desires give another birth or a life, new life, humans don't realize that in the next life also that human being creates either more desires, or the cause and effect of the karmas further take them to more incarnations. So this web यानी जो जाल बना लेते हैं, then that starts giving suffering. Means the more we run after things, the more unhappy we become, not realizing that it is giving us suffering. So therefore the Shastras say that you don't run after things, Ichcha kharab hai or mukt ho jao. Now the question is, yes, technically we've understood. Now what does it mean? Mukti means what? And if it has to happen to me, or if it has already happened to me, what has happened? Right? So it means that we have reincarnated many times, because in every life God was giving us one chance to understand the truth, which we didn't learn. Right? So in every life we were coming, and we could not fulfill everything that was due to in that life. यानी आप जी रहे थे पर सब कुछ तो जी नहीं सके, and one has also created more karmas. You getting me? We are adding, like the pool is now becoming larger. So as we take another new life, we are creating more karmas, that means it is yet to manifest. So the corpus or the backlog is increasing. And there comes a time when such a big bundle or a bag of karmas is accumulated. Right? So these karmas then become like a load. And how to manifest? That means we'll again have to reincarnate again and again. And then again the account, the corpus or the balance is again larger. So when after a lot of suffering, there comes a time when the man or a human being tries to know that haven't I experienced so much that some things never give me happiness, so why am I running after it? Like the fleeting happiness. Right? So then like we go inward, we start. Now there comes a time when these questions start coming to us. What is it that if I do something else, that will give me the real joy and not these temporary things? Because the problem with indriya sukh, yani indriyo se jo sukh hota hai, it demands more repetitions. We will also have to consider the second important thing that is in relation to what I have said. Like I have said, first is that a human soul wanders a lot and it gets lost in the webmire of Maya. Okay, but at some point it stops, reflects, right? But remember, what is happening is that we are not this physical body alone. We have a manas. Now, as we were accumulating more karmas, now the mind was also getting denser and thicker. How? That when we were just born, that means when the soul had just incarnated the first time, the mind or the manas was filled with Brahm Prakash, with God's light. Slowly, as one enters Maya or experiences, a soul experiences Maya, the impact or the effect of Maya corrupts the mind. Corrupts means one is that we want to re-experience, we want to experience the Maya again and again. And if I have done some action, correspondingly the mind is registering everything. So these two things are constantly happening. The soul is experiencing, and whatever the soul is undergoing, any experience of, say, so many things of the world, simultaneously we have another sheath or a body called man. That is the subtle body. This is the physical body. Then we have subtle body. So the subtle body or the man registers everything, and the subtle body or the man has three parts to it. Right? So when we have experienced, or when the mind says, okay, I want to experience again, so we first become habitual of it. We repeat those experiences, not knowing that we will not enjoy it. So now I go back to that man. The man can be divided into three portions or parts. And what is the constitution, or what is the structure of the mind? So when we start as a soul, we descend on the earth, we incarnate. The manas or the subtle body was just a halo or an envelope of light. We were all very pure. We were very close to God. And as we moved on, we started reincarnating. The mind was changing. Right? So if we divide the mind in three parts, we call it conscious mind, subconscious, that is the middle part, and the lowest is the unconscious mind. So what happens if we collect lot of karmas, right? So whenever we first started the first karma, we did it, all the actions are done with conscious mind, means we are very aware of what we are doing. But as we are repeating and doing lot of repetitions, and a habit is formed, that karma is registered or goes down, or the seed goes down in the middle part, that is the subconscious. Now after some reincarnations, we start functioning from that means the subconscious mind, and that is the sanskar. We say then we become slaves of sanskars, and all the desires become very solid. If the desires have slipped, that means say I have got a habit, a desire has caused a habit, and if I quickly erase it, then it doesn't slip down. And if I have reincarnated so many times, it has become because that's why you find people who never change. That's the reason. So finally the karma or the karma seeds or the sanskars are so solid and thick that they fall down at the bottom. So this is the complication that happens. But it's not necessary that every human being does only bad karmas. Some do very good karmas also. And they also sink below, remember. So when an enlightened soul finds that at the bottom or in the middle part of the manas, there are lots of good karmas seeds, right? And some are bad, but more seeds are good. So with the permission of God, with the command of God, what happens is God decides that this child has done very good actions, he has very good thoughts, is a pious soul. Now I want to reveal myself more to that soul. So then we get an opportunity where we find an enlightened person who's already crossed the path. So her question is, what is Mukti? What is meant by Mukti? Mukti is never the end of the soul journey. It is the beginning of self-realization, or the beginning of real soul journey, because we learn how to live now. So far we were just wandering and figuring it out. So when the collection of karmas are good, or a mixture, or basically the virtuous pious actions number has to be larger than sins. But if a soul has continuously, consciously, with the wish, strong will, generated very good karmas, knowingly or unknowingly, or you could say it in a simple manner or term, that when the habit of the soul has become to only do pious actions, because the soul is so ripe now, the soul has learnt that what caused me suffering, I will not do. What has given me joy, or if I am more sacrificing, I have realized it gives me more joy. If I am selfish, I hate myself. So when the collection of karmas are exceedingly good, that means positive hai, acha hai, sab, right? Then it is Paramatma who looks inside us, and he gets a thought that I must now call this child to me again, because I had actually sent her or him to go and see my world, right? So the reason why God calls us is because when He had sent us to this world, we were full of divine light, love, peace, truth, and slowly all these virtues or these divine qualities started degrading, or we started losing them. But when the awakening happens, or when the collection of good karmas is a lot, the good karmas, positive karmas, power propels us to go towards God. While the power of bad karmas is so degenerating that we start falling downward. So when the balance of good and bad is seen, if someone has done many good karmas, so obviously the balance is or the you could say number of good karmas is very high. So that time God starts calling us, and the power of positive karmas propel us or lift us up. So we start seeking higher realities or subtle happiness, divine joy, or we start liking, say, things like very, very subtle acts like like meditation. We start liking silence. The reason for God to call us is that He wants to give us more light again and purify ourselves, and to have more divinity as we had at the beginning. But there is a problem, because since the question was what is Mukti, because there is a baggage or there is something that did not manifest. There was something, that means the karmas which did not manifest, right? So they become like an obstruction, correct? So what do we do with that? What do we do with that? I mean, what is the solution? The solution is that they are brought up. Otherwise, one doesn't know when they will manifest at what point of time, and because no karma can manifest unless the right environment is given. It's like a seed, you have to give environment like soil, water, air. So that's why they're buried for eons, centuries. Now, the God's wish is that the seeds which are lying dormant, they have to be quickly manifested and burnt, finished. Right? So they are brought up, they are brought forward, or they are now ready to manifest. But since there are quite a few, there are a lot, some as grace is written off. It's like death, or it just comes and goes. And the sins are, or the good karmas are quickly earned and manifested and finished. But there are some still remaining, and it is up to God to decide that which karmas He wants us to compulsorily undergo again. And for all this process, of course, you have to have a perfect body, mind and everything. You also need a guru who can give you guidance at the right time. And while this process has started, there is another process that God starts, and it can only happen with the wish of God or the permission of God. That is, God starts giving us the power of intuition, the voice of God, called intuition or vishesh bodh. कुछ अलग से समझ आने लगता है. Many new things we start understanding, and it is like some power is pulling us, and we think that I feel like I just had some kind of calling. But it doesn't happen without the wish of God. So the karmas which God has decided, this has to be cleared, they start happening. And the ground or the soil is made ready. So up till here it is called Mukti. Means वो कर्म अगर बाद में कभी फलीभूत होते तो उसको बहुत टाइम लगता या कैसा जीवन बनता. Because if you practically see it, it means we'll have to relive, we have to again have experiences, again incarnate, and I mean it's a very long process. So up till here we say that basically it means that the baggage is light, but it doesn't mean that it's got over completely. Now we go back to the second, the mental diagram that I am making. One is I am talking about Mukti, which is related to our manas, because it was the mind or the man which had said, let's try this out long time back. Then the manas says, I am not interested in this more, I want to experience something more. It was manas or man which wanted Maya. Now it is man which wants Ishwar, Paramatma. Right? And it is the mind that had got changed or corrupted. Now it is the mind which is got purified, and the mind becomes the vessel to receive God. ये मन ही ईश्वर को साक्षात्कार करता है. इसलिए ये शास्त्र की बात बिल्कुल सही है कि मन ही जन्म मरण का कारण है और मन ही मुक्ति का कारण है. ये मेरी बहुत फेवरेट मन की बात है, क्योंकि वो योग वशिष्ठ में भी कहा है कि मन से ही हम लोग बंधन में आए और मन से ही अब मुक्ति मिलने वाली है. और मन से ही आगे जो मैंने समझा कि ईश्वर मिलता है, क्योंकि मन में एक अनुभव है ईश्वर का और कुछ नहीं है. राइट? सो यहाँ तक ठीक है. Now if we go back to the constitution of the mind, the structure of the mind, I had said there is no line as such, but just to understand, I have said that if this is the subtle body, called man, I am making 3 parts of it. The topmost, the middle and the bottom. Correct? Now I have cleared all this. So there is space now. So there is space for divine light to come. And the mind rises, it becomes very light. Now Mukti means actually leave the conscious mind. Leave the conscious mind. Because there are no impressions as such. There is no etching of anything. The conscious mind is basically just seeing, just experiencing. There are no markings. It is the subconscious mind where the grooves in the brain become permanent. Correspondingly, the manas's grooves become permanent. यानी habits जो form हो गई हैं वो subconscious mind में हुई है. That's why they say it's very difficult to change a habit. So at this stage, when I'm saying moksha means what? What has happened to manas? Man को क्या हो गया? So upper part we are not talking because that has nothing to do. This is the conscious mind means we are creating new. अभी तो होना है. It's like current. अभी एक बार एक काम किया तो उसका कोई register नहीं हुआ है अभी मन में. Right? Mukti means the karmas, seeds which were embedded in the subconscious mind's topmost layer. There is no fixed line or marking. But in the subconscious mind, we actually in all the 3 parts, that is the conscious mind, subconscious mind and the unconscious mind. For our understanding, we divide it further into 7 levels. Because obviously if there is a well and we have to go and fetch 2 buckets of water, we'll have to go down the steps. So you will first step down 1, 2, 3. There are levels. Then we go at the bottom. So in the same way, the subconscious mind has 7 levels. So we can, for our understanding, say L1, L2, L3 and last is L7. So Mukti means clearing only L1 of subconscious mind. No, 7 levels. There are 3 parts of the mind. We repeat. Manas, just imagine it's like an oval shape. The mind is oval in shape, right? It has a shape, and everyone's mind has a different shape. The good people's mind is very beautifully shaped. The wicked people's mind is very distorted, like the ugly face of a devil. So the manas has I'm talking of good people now. Because we are assuming that we are that person and we are clearing our baggage and we have come at a point where God has called us. Right? So we go and we show like this is my report card or this is. So if God says, okay, I'm going to clear your baggage, come to me. Right? So the clearing happens, and how it happens, destiny is not favorable or sometimes very favorable, or we have one after the other and so on. Means like there is a big flow of things happening in your life which you can't control or which you didn't invite. But it's happening on its own. It's like a gush of energies, new energies that have come, gush of new circumstances, something nice has happened. So there is a master behind it who has ordained that this is happening. So if I am saying that I would like to consider that the mind of a person is, supposing, oval in shape. So and the weight, since it's an interesting topic, the mind has weight also. But not weight like grams and milligrams. It has weight?
Subtle 5 elements.
Subtle 5 elements. So we can divide the mind in three parts. The conscious mind is not involved in this process. So when the buried seeds of karmas were lying dormant down, which would have culminated after, say, many yugas or something, right? So some of it is brought up. God decides which karmas have to be released at what time. So it's like something which comes up on water, say a wheat, if it's supposing light, it will float and things like that, So if something has to be brought up, that particle or that grain or something, anything, that thing comes up. That means it needs to be burst open. So we see those things happening in our life, because since nobody knows this happens, but we just say I got lucky or things are changing and all that. But they are actually our own karmas, past karmas. So we see miracles, we see nice things, benedictions, blessings coming, right? But there is something more God wants, that more digging has to be done. So that is the time of Mukti. And every person's account or this process is different. For some, this part can be very painful. And actually speaking, I have seen, this is my observation, that means the karmas which were deposited in the unconscious mind, from there the karmas are brought up. So the very old, the first few incarnations, say 25 incarnations, karmas, were buried inside at the base. And if out of that I am digging out something, so this collection of karmas which were lying down at the base are called the sanchit, means accumulated. Sanchit karmas. So out of this, some, not all, out of the band or the bedrock of the lowermost portion of sanchit karmas, say there are layers and layers of karmas. It's like soil, it has many layers, skin has many layers. So even karmas have many layers. So some part of the karmas, it's like triggering, God triggers. From sanchit karma, part of it is brought up. It could be good, bad, but I have seen that many times the worst are brought up first, because they are most difficult to bear. And after that one gets very free, and it's like, this is called releasing the bondage. ये है मुक्ति का मतलब, कि वो मुक्ति इन चीजों से, एक तो weight, karma's weight. So all that starts leaving you. And that is what is called mukti. But what happens is, if these karmas which were down have come up, they actually go to L1 of subconscious mind. So you are only clearing that level. वो इतना से आपने clear किया. But God says, चल तेरे को अभी आराम मिलने वाला है. Right? अभी और parts बचे. So up till here is mukti. Her question was, what is mukti? What is nirvana? What is moksha? This is the same. What your questions were in the morning, right? I have answered. So ये mukti हो गई. And I would like to inform others also, and people who will come later, that when this happened to me, in my own experience, this happened. So I thought that mukti means it's done. And many people have created this wrong impression, or not wrong, but God didn't allow to know more. So all the scriptures ended like this, and they said, that's it. So one thing, that one will die. And there is no life after that. This is not the truth. Because we have only cleared some karmas. But the fatigue is so much in people, and the Ichcha Shakti is so poor and weak, that one decides, कि अभी बहुत हो गया, अभी आगे नहीं जाना है. But in my case it was different. I didn't care for all this. I said I don't want mukti. What is beyond mukti? Then if this is such a small thing, then what are the rishis gone for? So at this point I can say that I have explained what is mukti, and I have said that my blog starts from here, that what happens after mukti, right? So I was told that the soul journey begins after mukti, and I said what is beyond mukti, because our shastras have not described it, because God had said no for it. So they told me that there are 3 levels, okay? That is Tivra Gyan, Prachanda Gyan and Prabhutva Gyan. Now if I translate it again, we'll go back to the constitution of the manas, yani there are 3 levels, right? So Tivra Gyan means the if I divide the middle part of the mind, manas, into 3 parts, not 7, 3 parts, divided into 3 parts. So if I further make improvement, and if I, after mukti, if I gain some knowledge, that little part or the knowledge that I have gained and the level of knowledge that I have gained is Tivra Gyan. But people get tired, and it takes many lives like this to even get Tivra Gyan. The exception is now, the Kali Yuga. Then the process that the rishis have undergone is very slow. So they had to reincarnate again, fight the problems of nature which was against them. They could not control the weather and food and whatever problems of survival. So they remained at Tivra for a long time. I mean, that took many lives as up till that little faint thing. And they had to hold themselves tight so that they don't fall again. Then if we further make Purusharth, we gain more spiritual enlightenment, and that is called Prachanda, means brighter than before. Then the process continues, and then we come up till Prabhutva Gyan. But Prabhutva Gyan itself demands a lot of things. That is, the most prominent thing that I came to know was that to gain higher wisdom and further, so if I say I've gone to level 3, that is Tivra Gyan, that is thoda aur bright, thoda aur blazing ho raha hai, thoda aur wisdom aa rahi hai. And if I reach so-called Prabhutva Gyan, means L3 of subconscious mind, मैं इधर वहाँ तक भी आ गई हूँ. But to gain that Prabhutva Gyan, a soul, एक जीवात्मा को कम से कम minimum 84,000 types of अनुभव होने चाहिए. मीन्स इतना वैरायटी होना चाहिए कि दुनिया ये भी देखी, ये भी किया. यानी it also means that one has undergone a myriad, जिसको बोलते हैं ना, बहुत प्रकार का अनुभव ले लिया, बहुत अनुभवी आत्मा है, हम ऐसा कह सकते हैं. पर वो जो 84,000 टाइप्स ऑफ अनुभव होते हैं, people get overwhelmed, they don't want to, because some are pleasant, some are not. So I thought, I'm now going back to my blog readers, that I thought कि ये तो मैंने बहुत हिम्मत की है, यानी I am the only exception in human history कि starting from Mukti up till even Anant and Aviral, यानी subconscious mind के भी परे, यानी प्रभुत्व ज्ञान के beyond भी ज्ञान है. That is अनंत के levels हैं, फिर अविरल है, फिर अविरल के पार है, और वो बहुत कम ऋषियों ने किया है अविरल तक, विश्वामित्र जी और ऐसे बहुत कम है. और बिकॉज दे हैड टू टेक सो मेनी, मतलब टाइम लगा है, करेक्ट. मोस्ट ऑफ द ऋषिज हैव हैड टू स्टॉप एट प्रभुत्व ओनली, बिकॉज वो थक चुके हैं, इतना जन्म लिया है उन्होंने. जन्म मतलब द जीवात्मा हैज टू अंडरगो सो मच, और उसमें थकान भी है, जेन्युइन प्रॉब्लम्स भी हैं, फिर वो कर्मों का मैनिफेस्टेशन है. सो दिस इज द ओनली टाइम a human soul like me, whose mukti was ordained after 4 lives, but my Ichcha Shakti or my demand or my appeal was so strong that God did not even listen to the rishis who said she cannot. I had to, that's what I had said in Pondicherry also when you met me in 2019, January 2019. That what was already decided, my mukti was supposed to, if everything had gone the normal way, the normal process, I would have got the mukti after my fourth life from now on. But I pursued, I cried to God, I said that I want it. That was because in my previous life, I had got lot of virag. In my last learning of my life, before I died or before I was put to death, was that I cannot depend on my next life or any other life. I can't wait anymore. I can't take a chance again. I have to know God. The reason is, if I take a new life, what guarantee is there that I will not slip or I will not digress? So, with the normal flow of my karmas, मेरे को आज से यानी इस जन्म से चौथे जन्म में मुक्ति मिलनी थी. बट इतना डिफरेंट, इतना एक्सेप्शनल सर्कमस्टांसेस हो गया because of my only good संकल्प, यानी मेरा संकल्प इतना स्ट्रांग था कि ये जन्म में मेरे को भगवान मिलना है, क्योंकि ये में नहीं, इसमें नहीं मिला तो कब होएगा क्या पता, मैं फिर फिसल जाऊं. सो द ऋषि सेड डोंट, इनको नहीं दो, ये कर्मों का, इसका संचित कर्मा इतना हैवी है, ये क्रश होएगी. तो भगवान ने कहा नहीं, इसकी इच्छा शक्ति बहुत स्ट्रांग है, ये नहीं होएगी. तो यहाँ पे वो इच्छा शक्ति की मैं बात आपको बता रही हूँ कि इतना डोमिनेंट रोल है इच्छा शक्ति का. इसमें ये डिज़ायर कोई भोगने की इच्छा नहीं है जो हम लोग समझ नहीं पाते कि मैंने इच्छा क्यों की है. ये हम अपने अंदर भगवान की एक शक्ति को जनरेट कर रहे हैं कि भगवान है ना, करा देंगे, हो जाएगा ना. कराने वाला तो भगवान है, मैं क्या कर रही हूँ. या हमारी लॉन्गिंग इतनी पेनफुल होती है भगवान को जानने के लिए, क्योंकि हमारे पुण्य हमको इतना डीप डिजायर देते टू वंस अगेन एक्सपीरियंस गॉड. एंड द विराग मतलब इसको, जिस एक्सपीरियंस ने मुझे खुशी नहीं दी, मैं क्यों उसको वापस लूं. या फ्यूटाइल एक्सपीरियंसेस को मैं रेपिटेशन में क्यों लाऊंगी मैं, राइट. सो इस जन्म में ही मेरे को मुक्ति मिली. इस जन्म में मैंने तीव्र, प्रचंड और इतना फास्ट गया इन अ फ्यू इयर्स. फिर कोविड के बाद मेरे को भगवान ने कहा तू क्यों रुकेगी, आगे जाना. ऐसा मुझे नहीं पता क्या आगे, बोले चल मैं तेरे को लेके जाता हूँ. बट उसके बहुत हार्ड टेस्ट दिए मैंने, तो वो अविरल, अनंत और पता नहीं कितना कुछ लेवल है. तो जितना भगवान ले जा सकते हैं ह्यूमन बीइंग को, मुझे भगवान ने इसी जन्म में दिया. पर उसमें कॉस्ट बहुत हैवी दी, पर एक बार लगता है हैवी नहीं दी. भगवान परीक्षा के बिना कुछ देंगे नहीं. मुझे भगवान ने साथ में बॉडी को कैसे रीडेवलप या रीस्ट्रक्चर करना है सिखाया. तो ये जो ऋषियों का, मैं जो आप कहते हैं कि आपको कितना पता है इनके बारे में, ये ज़्यादा मुझे प्रभुत्व ज्ञान के बाद ज़्यादा समझ आया. यानी छोटा बल्ब है, इतना सा ही वॉट है, से 6 वॉट का है, 12 वॉट का है, एंड सो ऑन. मुझे लगता है मेरे को सबसे ज़्यादा मज़ा अब आ रहा है. इट्स लाइक फुल थ्रॉटल पे आप अपनी गाड़ी चला रहे हो, सब तरह से, और आपको इतना बड़ा होराइजन दिख रहा है। तो उसके लिए मेरे को बहुत परिश्रम करना पड़ता है। मतलब किस प्रकार का परिश्रम, ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं थकती हूँ या, मतलब परिश्रम से मतलब ये है कि काम मेरा बहुत बढ़ जाता है। और वो क्या है कि मैं जहाँ पे भी बहुत प्रकाश या बहुत ज़्यादा एनर्जी सेंटर्स हैं, मैं वहाँ से ये नॉलेज लेके आ रही हूँ। मुझे पहले ही मिलता है, मैं कुछ बांटती हूँ, फिर मैं कुछ लिख देती हूँ ताकि आगे की जनरेशन्स, और बाकी का ये मेरा किताब में जा रहा है। तो ये जो मैंने तभी आपसे शुरू में कहा कि ये आपको कहीं मिलने नहीं वाला है। जो आज सुबह इस बच्चे ने मेरे को कहा कि आपने तो बहुत डिफरेंट, मतलब ये कहीं है ही नहीं, तो पता भी कैसे लगेगा। तो ये ऋषियों की भी स्टेजेस हैं, और मैं उनका इसलिए इतना आदर करती हूँ क्योंकि उन्होंने जो कुछ भी पाया वो बहुत कठिनाई से पाया है। मुझे ऐसा लगता है बहुत आसानी से मिला है, पर मुझे परमात्मा कहते हैं नहीं, मैंने बहुत तेरी कड़ी परीक्षाएं ले ली है, पर इसका सबसे ज़्यादा लाभ संसार को होना चाहिए। तो मुक्ति बहुत छोटी चीज़ लगती है, मुक्ति बहुत छोटी, मतलब हमारा गोल मुक्ति नहीं हो सकता है। क्योंकि अच्छा, मुझे भगवान ने क्यों दिया, अब ये सवाल होता है कि भाई आपको भगवान फेवरेटिज्म नहीं करते, गॉड विल नेवर फेवर वन पर्सन। तो यानी अविरल, अनंत, ये जो अनंत अविरल जो भी ये लेवल्स हैं वो चिदाकाश महाकाश हैं एक्चुअली। पहले हम किताबों में पढ़ रहे थे महाकाश मतलब क्या, इसका मतलब है, अब उसी तरह समझाऊंगी, जो फैक्ट है कि जो मेरा मन है, जो मैंने एक्सपीरियंसेस किए हैं उसकी स्मृति भी है, मेरे पास मेमोरी भी है। तो वो बस थोड़ा सा भी कुछ होता है वो सब मेमोरी हटा देते हैं, क्योंकि मेमोरी फिर ट्रिगर करेगी कुछ ना कुछ चीज़, राइट। सो जो ऋषिज बहुत हाईली एलिवेटेड हैं, यानी ये जो बुक बनी है साथ जो बन रही है वो आदि शंकराचार्य जी का, जिनका बहुत ज़्यादा, मतलब वो महाकाश में ही रहते। और जब वो आदि शंकराचार्य बन के 100 लाइफ एज अ जगत गुरु आए थे, तो इसका मतलब उनका तो मन बहुत पहले ही टोटली लाइट से प्रकाश, ब्रह्म प्रकाश में ही है ये। तो इनको अब ये, इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि अगर ऐसा किसी का स्टेज है तो उनके साथ क्या होता है, वो इंस्टेंटली भगवान से कनेक्ट हो जाते हैं और इंस्टेंटली भगवान की इच्छा जान लेते हैं और वही काम करते हैं जो भगवान की इच्छा है। तो ये जो हमारा कार्य है वो ऐसा ही है कि जो भगवान की इच्छा है, जो भगवान कहते हैं मुझे, और अब मेरे को बहुत जल्दी डायरेक्टली पता लगता है, नहीं तो मैं पहले थोड़ा वेट करती थी कि मैं ध्यान करूं, मुझे कोई बताएं तो मैं आगे का काम करूं। तो मोक्ष तो स्टेप 1 है, और इसलिए बहुत सावधानी बरतनी पड़ती है सब साधकों को। इसलिए योग साधना का बहुत रोल है, और आगे जाके हम जितना ग्रो करते हैं आत्मा में, वो पहले भी और बाद में भी भगवान पे सब कुछ छोड़ते हैं कि हमारी इच्छा कुछ नहीं है। यहाँ पे इच्छा का त्याग होता है, ये इच्छा शक्ति अलग है और इच्छा अलग है। आज मेरी कोई इच्छा नहीं, मतलब आज मैं ये नहीं कहती अब मेरा मन नहीं है आप लोग को कुछ सिखाने का, आज मैं जाती हूँ या मैं कभी और, तो ऐसा नहीं है। मुझे अगर भगवान ने कहा इनको सिखाओ तो मैं सिखाऊंगी, मेरी अपनी इच्छा कुछ नहीं। जो कमांड आता है ठीक है, जो बोलते ठीक है। तो वो लोग इसको इतना गलत समझते हैं या अनुभव नहीं होता, तो अंदाज़ा भी नहीं आता कि इसका मतलब क्या है। भगवान की इच्छा पे चलो भगवान, तो मतलब लगता है हम पपेट हो जाएंगे क्या? नहीं, मैंने जो अनुभव किया है कि भगवान की इच्छा का मतलब होता है भगवान की शक्ति। भगवान अपनी शक्ति दे रहे हैं आपको, आप ले लो और काम कर लो, एक इतना सारा पावर मिलता है। और भगवान की इच्छा में हमेशा जगत कल्याण होता है। मेरा तो कल्याण होता ही है, मैं आपका क्या कर रही हूँ, मैं अपना ही कल्याण कर रही हूँ। तो भगवान की इच्छा पे चलने में लोगों को बहुत कष्ट होता है। तो ये महाआकाश का मतलब ये होता है मन पूरा का पूरा साफ हो गया, कोई पिछले जन्म का बीज नहीं, कोई इच्छा नहीं, और मन में भगवान का यानी प्रेजेंस इतना है कि हर कर्म अब अपनी इच्छा से ना होके भगवान की इच्छा पे चलता है। तो इससे सबसे ज़्यादा जो फायदा होता है वो सबसे ज़्यादा जन कल्याण बहुत होता है इससे अवेकनिंग औरों की बहुत जल्दी हो जाएगी। पर अगर मैं थोड़ा भी अपना इंटरेस्ट रखूंगी, नहीं थोड़ा मेरे को भी चाहिए, तो जो मेरे पास आ रहे हैं फिर उसका स्लो ग्रोथ होएगा। तो आप लोग कई बार कहते हो ना मेरा इतना अच्छा है, तो ऑफ कोर्स ऋषियों की बहुत कृपा है, भगवान की कृपा है, और दूसरा मुझे ऐसा लगता है ये भगवान की इच्छा है, ये सब हो तो मैं करती हूँ। तो उससे बहुत फास्ट फॉरवर्ड होती है चीज़ें। अपनी इच्छा इसलिए नहीं रखनी चाहिए कि हमें तो पता भी नहीं क्या करना है, क्या मांगना है।